Hello and welcome to ChinnyVision. This time we're heading off down to the Dagmar for a pint. Actually, I think the Dagmar was a wine bar, so we better make that the Jolly Sailor, the Queen Vic, the Rover's Return, or any other pub in TV series you can think of. We're looking at Tapper today, a 1983 arcade game by Bally Midway, where you play a bartender who has to keep the punters happy by continually feeding them pints of root beer, or, well, it varies because sometimes this game's called Root Beer Tapper to make it more kid-friendly, and indeed had sponsorship from Pepsi and Budweiser as well. So we're starting off here on C64, and as you can see it's simplified graphics from the arcade, but the gameplay essentially remains the same. You slide the beers, or root beer or whatever, along the tables, and if the customers slide back through the doors, then that's great. Sometimes they'll have a drink, and then you'll have to slide them another glass along and collect their glass as well. If they leave a tip and you collect it, some dancing girls appear, and any customers who don't have glasses or aren't drinking immediately stop in their tracks and watch the show for a brief amount of time. So I've made this first level overcomplicated just by demonstrating the dancing girls thing, but it's probably the best opportunity I'm going to have to do that. Usually you can clear this first level very, very quickly. You can run down the bars as well to collect the glasses if you need to. Right, can I finish this off here? You can literally clear this level in seconds, but I've made this incredibly complicated because I wanted to show the different gameplay elements there. And this is what happens if you don't serve a customer beer and they reach the end of the bar. You get slid along in a nice little animation. So here we go, this is level 2, and you're in the same scenario. There's 4 scenarios in the game. A bar like this, a sports stadium, a rough bar with all sorts of strange people in it, and a space bar at the very end. You hold down the fire button to get the beer, and you can move up and down just to move between levels and get that little dance at the end. And when you complete a level, and when you go between scenarios, every second level you get this, do they call it chop cup? I can't remember. It's that little trick Paul Daniels used to do where it was a trick, but you hide a ball cup situation where one of these has got the thing in it. Oh, I've opened the wrong one, and it's sprayed all over me. And the game on this version is sponsored by Mountain Dew. And now we're in the sports stadium on the C64. I always thought this was the beach until I saw the arcade version when it was much more clearly sports stadium. Different tunes for each of the scenarios, very basic though. It's very difficult to get the tips sometimes. There's one on the bottom bar there, but I'm not going to get that. And over to the Atari 8-bits. This isn't a US gold conversion, it's by another company. I think it's actually by Bally Midway. It may have been ported from cartridge. Very different graphics and very different look, and you can see how easy it is to clear that first level. Nice little extra animations here on the Atari as well. The bartender, when he's not doing anything, starts polishing the bar. And that's round 2 completed already. The graphics are very different here on the Atari. Not unattractive, but very different. But then again, the C64 version, which I guess is the version most people are used to, it's actually quite different from the arcade as well. There you go, I managed it that time. The game does have 2-player modes, but it's 1 player after the other. And this is much more obviously a sports stadium here on the Atari 8-bits, especially the American football players, and they cheerleaders, and you've got baseball players as well coming towards you. And when you're running along the bar, you get that lovely animation as well. Seems to be so much more polish over the C64 version here on the Atari. The gameplay Well, certainly the controls are a little bit more responsive as well. You don't really notice it if you've only played the C64 version, but playing these back to back, it's pretty obvious the Atari version is more responsive on the controls, and the gameplay is a little bit faster as well. And this is the rough bar with the punk rockers and the people with sunglasses and various things. And the bars now go different directions, top half and bottom half of the screen, which makes it quite difficult to follow with your eyes. It's much more difficult once these two final scenarios, because the space bar also does this. See, I've just gone horribly wrong there. Your eye is not on the same spot as it is in the earlier levels, because you're on the left-hand side at the top and the right-hand side at the bottom. Much more difficult. Tune repeats very quickly on this level, I notice. Oh, this is getting very tough. Oh. That's going to be game over, is it? No, I've got one more go. See if I can do this. No. Horribly, horribly wrong. Oh no, I have another life. There's no... Where are the life indicators on this? And it's not telling me what lives I have that I can see. Alright. Concentrating on this. Oh no. Quite difficult. Game over. Moving over to the BBC Micro. And this is working on my BBC Master. Now I have the multi-OS ROM. You actually need a BBC B to run this, unless you've got a older ROM in your BBC Master. So this is happily running now. So let's have a look and see what it looks like. And the first thing I have to do is redefine the keys before you play it, which is nice because sometimes the default keys on BBC Micro games can be pretty rotten. Quite loud graphics here we can see on the menu screen, so presumably, right, here we go. This is, wow, the graphics are very garish. Oh, that was quick. Managed to get that done very quickly. It's very smooth and responsive. The graphics are very similar to the C64, except for these weird colours. I mean, I know the BBC Micro palette is a bit limited, so you're not really going to have much choice. But that went very, very well there. Extremely responsive playing it on the BBC Micro keyboard, but the controls are very responsive and your character moves around very quickly. It also, I find, a little bit of a niggle on the C64 version. When you're holding down fire to get the beer out, it can be a little bit laggy, and I'm not finding that here on the BBC Micro version. Onto the sports stadium, and equally horrific colours. Little bit of slowdown, we've got more characters on the screen, but otherwise it's still playing pretty well. Tune's a little bit basic and repetitive, but it is on all the versions. Even with the SID sound chip, the tune isn't that good. I think the arcade version, yeah, I've got Dancing Girls working there. It's good. Should buy me some time. I think the arcade version is one of the first instances of sample music or something like that. They certainly did something very innovative with the audio on it. I can't quite remember what it was. Oh, it's getting hard now. Oh. No. You see, I survived all that, and that was my own doing there. Right, okay, run along there. Throw him a beer there. There's a tip down there. Can I get it? Oh, I daren't. There's a payoff between daring to run for the tip and stalling everybody with the dancing girls, or just leaving it and just carrying on, because it can actually prolong things if you're not careful. Only the people who aren't drinking look at the dancing girls and pause. My only niggle with the BBC version is when the sprites are overlapping, as you can see here, it's difficult to see how many customers you have at each bar, because when they start overlapping, there seems to be some overlap problem there. Especially with limited colours. over to the Amstrad CPC. This was publicised as an Amsoft game and has Amsoft on the loading screen, although I'm not sure Amsoft actually ever released it themselves. A bit like Spy Hunter, which is also a US Gold game. See, the US Gold logo probably would have gone in that barrel and they've stuck Amsoft down the side. I don't know. Clearly a difficult relationship between Amsoft and US Gold. So again, we've got the same options. All the versions have beginner, arcade and expert modes and the 1 and 2 player options. Nice graphics here on the CPC. I remember seeing this publicised in the Amsoft catalogue and looking at the stills and thinking it looked nice. However, it's not as smooth as the C64 or BBC versions in terms of the gameplay. It's a little bit laggy and the graphics are a little bit more jerky. Oh, that person down there just waited. They're very colourful and quite nice. Perhaps a tiny bit more definition than the C64 version. Certainly more colourful. Tune gets on nerves pretty quickly. All the computers have far better sound chips than the programmers are given credit for here, really. Come on. 1, 2. Right. No, one more. After sailing through that first level, this is getting difficult now. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh. So easy to do, to put one too many drinks out. So here on the Amstrad, it's sponsored by Pepsi. I wonder if US Gold got money from Pepsi for this. Or Mountain Dew, or whatever the other versions are. Over to the sports stadium, which I always thought was the beach. See if I can do this. Slows down, we've got a lot on the screen with the Amstrad version. Just lacks something here on the CPC. Oh, if you looked at a still of this, you'd think it was absolutely fine. It's when you come to play, it's just a little bit lacking. Just as the music is lackluster, the graphics look fine, but the gameplay and the movement isn't quite all there. Over the Sinclair Spectrum, you get to sign on with your name on this version, so press any key, Chinny. All the music's horrific, and I've already gone horribly wrong. It sounds like someone being electrocuted. Or something kind of electrical noise, something Photonic Induction would have on his channel rather than music. So slight sprite overlap issues there. Very nicely defined and the game's responsive. Just lacks that little something that I've seen on the other versions. It's okay. A lot of flickering when you overlap the bar, I notice. Right, there's 2 there, 2 there. It's okay. Nothing special really here on the Sinclair Spectrum. There's that little bit of flickering going on when there's a lot happening and the overlaps. See what's going on in that middle row there? There's someone appearing and disappearing. Is he there? Isn't he there? Has he got to the end? That was 2 sprites overlapping, which I could barely see. I thought that was some kind of glitch or something. And that's a bit of a problem here on the Sinclair Spectrum, even more so than the BBC Micro version. Pepsi again sponsoring here on the Sinclair Spectrum version. And oh, the colours here on the Sports Stadium version are pretty horrific, especially with your character. It looks a bit like Match Day with that white and yellow sprite you've got there. It's really difficult to see against the background, let alone what that looks like on UHF. So Tapper was a bit of an iconic arcade game and a bit of an iconic game for C64 owners as well. Yeah, on the 64 it's pretty decent, but actually I think the real highlights here are the BBC Micro and the Atari 8-bit versions. The Atari 8-bit version is more frantic, is more responsive, has more of a turn of speed to it, and I really enjoyed playing it. Likewise, the BBC Micro version, which I thought was very polished, and although it has garish colours, which I guess is unavoidable on the system, it plays really well. So if you're not going to play the C64 version, certainly the Atari and the BBC versions are extremely good. The Amstrad version in a still photo looks the part, but unfortunately it's too jerky and just a little bit lacking in the gameplay. And the Spectrum version as well, it's just a little bit lacking and a little bit glitchy, and not really one of the better games on the system. Tapper's an iconic arcade game and fantastic fun in the arcade or on the home systems as well. Certainly, although the Spectrum and Amstrad versions are a little bit lacking, they're still worth a play, but really, for the best versions, you're going to be looking at the C64, the BBC Micro, or the Atari 8-bits. Certainly that Atari version, I think, is particularly good.